Happy Thursday, everyone, and happy birthday, Madi and Mary. We are going to have a good time today for this little fast little sprinter for you guys. Kind of a fast little sprinter, we'll say. It's a little moderate time frame. But before we get to that, let's talk about our work set. Work set is going to be a plank to down dog for 3 to 5 reps, forearm plank for 20 seconds, just a nice static hold. Arch hold for 10 seconds, forearm side plank, reach through for 15 seconds aside, and then a plank shoulder touch for 6 to 10 alternating reps. 2 to 3 rounds, take that down, take that solid. They're going to move into a little bit of static holding, an overhead hold of 30 seconds, dumbbell front rack hold for 30 seconds, and then a couple dumbbell deadlifts for 5, just to kind of start waking some things up and getting the body moving. You can take that down 2 to 3 rounds. Now we're going to get a little bit more dynamic. We're going to start warming up our dumbbell Sumo Deadlift high pull into our dumbbell snatch. So working on that nice complex to get that nice flow for that movement. You'll do 3 and 2, and then you'll repeat on the opposite side, and then you're going to tackle 6 alternating dumbbell clean and jerk or clean and press, and you're going to hit that up, figuring out your weights, figuring out where you want to go, and then tackling this work set. The work set is pretty fun, it's pretty cool. What we have for you guys is 30 dumbbell snatches alternating, so 30 total count. Then we have dumbbell clean and jerk for 30 alternating reps, but every minute you are going to do 5 squat thrusts, and that means you are going to start the workout. 3, 2, 1, go. 5 squat thrusts, then start your snatches. At the top of each minute, beat, you will do 5 squat thrusts, and then you will continue doing your snatches until you have completed your 30 snatches, and then you'll move right into your dumbbell clean and jerk, same loading, and then you'll do the same process. So taking it down every minute, 5 squat thrusts, continue on. We're not doing burpees today. We're gonna rock the squat thrust for speed purposes. So you can just drop down, hit your plank, pop back up, and go. So it's gonna be a nice, fast little work set. I want you to really push the pace here. Probably not gonna take too long in this workout, but I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes, you guys. So have some fun with this one, enjoy, and push the pace, but focus on that good quality snatch and clean and jerk. Let's get you warmed up and ready to go. All right, let's get those feet under those hips. Let's take those arms big and tall up overhead. We're just gonna side bend it. And we'll come back through, side bend. Come back up overhead. We're gonna scratch our back with both hands. Ribs are in. We're gonna reach with the elbow, and then we'll reach with the other side. We'll come back down and reach, and down, and reach, and down. 2 more, reach, and down, and reach. And come back up overhead, big stretch. Reach to one side, reach to the other side. We'll come back through, forward fold. We're gonna touch those toes. Walk with those shins. We'll come down, frame the foot. Step back into our lizard, nice and square in those hips. Take the inside hand up. Rotate forearm to the floor. We'll come back up, bend to 90. Reach straight ahead. Actively pulling the shoulder back. Reach forward, pull back, reach forward, and pull back. We're gonna reach up and rotate forearm to the floor. We'll come back up, big stretch. Plant the hand, step back into our down dog. Reaching those hips nice and high, setting those shoulders. We'll come back into that plank. We'll step the other foot up. Nice and square in those hips. Inside hand is gonna reach. Rotate, forearm to the floor. We'll come back up, bend to 90, straight ahead, pull back, straight ahead, pull back, straight ahead, and pull back, big reach up, rotate, forearm to the floor. We'll come back up, plant that hand, and step her back into that down dog, reaching those hips, nice and set to those shoulders. We'll come back into that plank, tiptoe those feet up. We're going to roll ourselves all the way back up. Big stretch. Good. Reach to one side. Oh. Reach to the other side. Oh. Come back down with those hands. Whew. Let's get you guys ready to go. So let's pause the video if you'd like to take down a little bit more kind of gentle warm-up. If you want, thread the needles, scat push-ups, always good. Whatever you need to do for yourself right now. If you're ready to follow along with me, come along and we're going to work on that first phase of warm-up. We're going to kickstart off our day today with a plank to down dog. So it's really waking up that lat and waking up those shoulders a bit. So we're going to get ourselves set up in that good plank position. Feet nice and together, pulling the ribs in, pressing the shoulders up. We're going to pull the hips back and up into that down dog, maintaining that nice open upper back. And then we're going to come back into our plank, into that nice solid position, finding that nice pull of the rib, pressing of the shoulders to the sky. Now, a couple of things we want to think about. If I'm in this overhead in that down dog position, I want you to think about taking those shoulders away from each other, opposed to scrunching them into your neck. So we want to think about making space between the shoulders and the neck, so we can feel that nice wrap around of that lat and that arm. So really focus on that. You might have to, when we get into the down dog position, actively set those shoulders in that position, and that's okay. It just takes some time to kind of feel that position in the beginning, and once you do, it happens a little bit more naturally. So take your time there, work through those reps, 3 to 5, setting both positions, and getting the most out of that position you can. From there, we're going to come into our tabletop, and we're going to set our forearms. So we're going to bring our forearms down to the floor, pressing through the ground. We're going to get ourselves set as we step our feet back, and in that, we're going to pull our ribs in, press our shoulders to the sky. We're going to hold that nice forearm plank nice and strong. We're just working on a nice static hold here to establish our positions and establish that heat from inside, because we're going to start moving a little bit more into a little bit more rotation on those shoulders. So we want to set that position strong here and then move into the next phase. After our forearm plank, we're going to work on some extensions. We're going to go onto our stomach. We're going to extend our arms out nice and long to the front. Armpits face towards the floor. We're going to bring our toes together, and I want you to think about reaching. So we're going to reach long to the front, long to the back. So trying to extend our body as long as we can, and that's what lifts the body off the floor. Now, if you're looking at that and going, ooh, I can't quite do the double, that's okay. We are going to extend right arm, left foot, trying to think length as long as we can, and then we come down and length, holding for either 10 seconds per side or 5 seconds per side, depending on where you want to go with that, but we're holding for a nice solid 10-second count. So working on that extension, that length, have fun with that one. It's a really nice opener for the spine and a really nice chance to work on the back half of the body. After that, we're going to move into our forearm side plank reach through, and there's 2 ways we could do this. We can do this from our full kind of side plank position with straight legs. So from here, lifting up those hips into that angle position, pressing through the shoulder, and then taking the arm to the sky, wrapping that arm through, and then opening to the side. Or we can take it from the knee position. So a slight bend in the knees, nice and stacked hip, and we are going to press through the shoulder, lift the hips up, and then do the same rotation. Keep in mind though, if we are going from the knees, you are going to have limited range of motion in that rotation. And that's okay. You want to first start by setting that strong shoulder position, making sure that's primary focus, and then the rotation will come as we can maintain that shoulder position, especially to the balance in the full side plank. We want to make sure that we have that as well before we worry about range of motion and rotation. So play with it, kind of figure out where it goes, take your time with that one, and ease in slow. Build that kind of consistency with the shoulder, the balance, and then the rotation. We have 15 seconds per side. I'm not super worried about how many reps you get, just worried about those key points and maintaining that nice structure. Last but not least, we move into our our plank shoulder touch. So I'm going to get myself facing forward so you guys can see this. My hands are just outside the shoulders. I'm going to grip the floor. I'm going to step back into that nice active plank first. Now with the shoulder touch, we have to do a plank lean first. So we establish the lean, my weight's over that hand. I pick my hand up and touch the shoulder, and I do the same thing. Shift, touch the shoulder. So I'm shifting my body weight first, taking that point of balance off, and then shifting back over. So don't lift that hand until you feel yourself stable on that arm, and then you can take away that point of balance. Now, keeping in mind, the harder you want to make this is the slower you move or the longer you hold in that 3-point balance. So the faster you go, the slightly easier it's going to be in terms of transitioning and working through those positions. So take your time, work to the speed that you need, and have some fun with working on transitioning your balance. Now, quick little recap. We have 2 to 3 rounds, plank to down dog for 3 to 5, forearm plank of 20 seconds, arch hold for 10 seconds, forearm side plank reach through, 15 seconds aside, and a plank shoulder touch for 6 to 10 alternating reps. 2 to 3 rounds there is really going to give you some chance to work on some good core work, some good shoulder stability work to get you ready for that more dynamic work set. So pause, rock it, come back, we're going to do some overhead holds. Okay. We're going to kickstart off our next phase with some holds. So we're going to work on just kind of warming up those 2 positions we need in the snatch and the front squat. So first things first, what we need to do is we need to get that dumbbell up to the shoulder. So we're going to do that nice clean. So we'll clean the dumbbell to the shoulder. And then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to push press that dumbbell into that overhead position. We're keeping our ribs in nice and tight. We're squeezing our glutes, and we're actively pushing into the dumbbell the entire time. So we can keep that elbow nice and strong and locked out so that we keep that dumbbell over top of our midsection. So our hand, elbow, shoulder, hip, and knee and foot are all in alignment. We're going to hold this overhead position for 30 seconds or 15 seconds per side. Okay? So we want to make sure that we're balancing out both sides of our work set. So we're actively pushing, ribs in, shoulders active and pushing to the ceiling, and we're nice and tight through that glute. So we have a nice, tall statue position. Our next movement is our front rack hold. And the front rack just comes right from the shoulder, nice and set, holding that same position in the core and the glutes. Nice solid statue from shoulder down. The only difference is we're pushing into the dumbbell into that front rack position. So the dumbbell's still resting on my shoulder in the back here. So I'm just actively lifting into that dumbbell just to keep that engagement through the side body and everything strong and stable. So we hold that position for that 15 or 30 seconds, transition sides, set, and do the other side. Now there's another way we can play with this combo here. You can definitely take it from here, do your 30-second or 15-second hold overhead, move into that front rack on that same side, hold, and then transition through and do that whole process on the other side. So it depends on how you want to take that down. I'm good with either, all right? I'm good with either one. Depends on what you want to take down, right? After that, though, we're going to go through 5 dumbbell deadlifts per side. So what we're going to work on is a nice sumo deadlift, because what we're doing is working with a single dumbbell today, and that sumo deadlift, taking it down between the knees, is going to simulate the snatch and the clean and jerk with a single dumbbell more so. So we're going to take that dumbbell from that hip position. We're going to take the hips back. Once the dumbbell gets to the knees, we're going to take the hips and shoulders down together. So everything moves together so we get in that nice stacked position, and then I push through my legs, hips and shoulders rising together. Taking it back again, maintaining that good hinge, lowering down to the floor or somewhere below the knee, whatever you feel comfortable with in terms of your range. We've talked about this before in our deadlift position. I want you to think about back position and hinge position over touching the dumbbell to the floor, okay? So please keep that in mind. That back position is more important, all right, than touching the dumbbell. Make sure we're focusing on that, because that's going to come in handy in our work set, because we really want to protect that back and keep it in a non-compromised position and an efficient moving position. As a quick recap, we have a dumbbell overhead hold, 30 seconds, dumbbell front rack hold, 30 seconds, dumbbell deadlift for 5. You can take that whole process down one side, down the other. You can mix and match whatever you want to do, whatever gives you the best warm-up possible to get those positions heated up in a static position, because now we're going to move into a dynamic position. So take down those holds, 2 to 3 rounds, get that body heated up and fired up. Let's get dynamic in this next phase. Pause that video, rock it, come join me, we'll have some fun. Our last little bit before we start our work set is going to be working on these two movements in a dynamic manner. We just focused on warming up with a nice static hold position in the front rack and the overhead. Now we're going to start moving on that movement in a dynamic fashion. So we're going to stem from that Sumo Deadlift high pull into our snatch. So what we're going to do is we're going to stand nice and tall, and we're going to work on taking our body down just like we did in our deadlift in our previous portion of warm-up. We are going to push through those legs, getting some momentum on that dumbbell, and then allowing the arm to guide that momentum and bring the dumbbell to the sternum. So we're not pulling super hard with the arm, we're just guiding the dumbbell to where we want it. So I take it back down, I set through those legs, and then I push through those legs. And I let that momentum carry as I guide the dumbbell in that high and outside position. You'll notice my chest stays open, my elbow stays above my hand as I get into that nice high and outside position. We're not coming forward and in, we're staying back and up. So if you see from the side, I want you to watch my elbow and where it goes. I come back, I push, and I work into that nice high and outside position. From those 3 reps, I'm going to do the next phase of 2 into my snatch. So I'm going to continue that momentum and pull into that little power landing. Hold the dumbbell down, take it back down to below the knee, push, use that momentum to continue driving and pulling underneath that dumbbell. So the key is guide, pull into that power position, land in that position, stand tall, active through that shoulder like we practiced in the overhead hold, bring it down, repeat. All right, so we're just using those legs, those hips, to get that dumbbell moving and pull ourselves underneath. Now our next movement, once we do that on both sides, the dumbbell sumo deadlift high pull to snatch, 3-2, both sides, we're going to alternate our dumbbell clean and jerk for 6 total count reps. And this can be kind of fun and kind of funky, so there's a couple different ways you can do this. What you're going to do is, again, taking it from the floor or below the knee. You can take it in the more traditional sense, where we clean, stand, push press, or jerk. It's up to you. And then we switch sides, same concept. We clean, stand, push press, or jerk. Or we can do the hybrid variation, where we take the dumbbell, we clean, right into that press. Or we clean right into that jerk, and then we come back down. So you're going to work on alternating back and forth, working on that good leg drive, that good sumo deadlift, into that drive, into the front rack position, and then it's up to you how you want to kind of continue on. If you want to use that power position into the press, or turn it into that 2-piece movement, boom, and make sure we're staying strong and stable. You can mix and match that too, so as you get more fatigued, if you find you're kind of off balance, when you're doing that hybrid variation, you're like, whoa, I gotta take a moment here. Keep moving, but just turn that movement into a 2-part movement for a couple reps to get yourself recovered a bit, and then maybe return back to that hybrid. Who knows? It's up to you on what you want to take down and how you want to take it. So have fun with this one, you guys. Practice these 2 movements, see where it takes you, and then get yourself ready for tackling that work set. So pause, rock it, work that high pull. It comes in handy for both movements because we want to use and feel that drive through the legs before we start using the arm in both the snatch and the clean. So again, we have 3 sumo deadlift high pulls into 2 snatches. Repeat on the opposite side. Then you're going to work on alternating for 6 total count clean and jerk with the dumbbell. 2 to 3 rounds, or 1 to 3 rounds, I should say, whatever you need to kind of get that body ready to go, heart rate up a bit, and then we'll see you at the workout. We'll have some fun. All right, we're at the work set now. What we got for you guys? 3, 2, 1, go. You are going to start this workout with 5 squat thrusts. So the squat thrust, again, is the non-push-up burpee. So we're not doing burpees today, we're doing squat thrusts for speed and for that nice factor of hitting that plank. So we have a couple different variations. We come down, we plant those hands, we jump into our plank, we jump it in, finish with that little clap, or we step back, step in, finish with that little clap. Now, you can do any variation of that. You can kind of experiment with that. You know, step back, jump in, jump back, step in, or change it up as you on the fly, depending on how fatigued you get. There's only 5 of them, so you do your 5, and then you're gonna move right into that first set of snatches. So whatever time frame it takes you to do your squat thrusts, you have remaining to do snatches in that minute. So what you'll do is you're gonna work on 30 alternating snatches. I pull the hips back and down, I get set, I'm gonna drive through those legs, work that snatch we talked about earlier, but then we're gonna alternate our hands, going through, working on that good drive through the legs, and that good control of the dumbbell as we come back and forth. Once the beeper goes, we stop our snatches, 5 more squat thrusts, and we continue down that path until we've completed 30 snatches. Once you've completed 30 snatches, you just move right into our alternating dumbbell clean and jerk, or clean and press. We talked about that quite heavily in our work set just prior to this, so we want to think about working through that same focus of that nice smooth transition and alternating back and forth, or the jerk, back and forth, until you hear that beep. Then you put that dumbbell down, you do your 5 squat thrusts, and continue in that manner until you have completed 30 dumbbell clean and jerks as well, and then you are done. Once you've completed your 30th clean and jerk, you are finished the work set, and call it a day and go, ha, woo, good times. So remember, we're gonna set this up in an on-the-minute timer. We start the workout with 5 squat thrusts, and then with every minute, we just stop what we're doing, do our 5, continue from where we left off until we've done 30 snatches and 30 clean and jerks. It's gonna be a gasser, it's gonna be a fast little race, but it's gonna be a fun time to kind of manage your fatigue, see when you need to rest before those squat thrusts so you can get a little bit of time to go, so you can attack that next minute and hit that minute with the most kind of energy you can to tackle that work. I hope you enjoyed this one, you guys. Let me know how it goes. Madi, Mary, I hope you have a fantastic birthday today. Enjoy, have fun, and let me know how this one goes, you guys. Let me know, the transitions, what you did, how much load you used. I'm excited to hear about it. As always, though, work for quality, have a ton of fun. We'll see you tomorrow to close out the week of a nice set of work sets. Bye, you guys.